This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
If this continues, which it sounds like it's going to continue, by next week we'll have to raise the rate by a couple of percent.
Feeling the financial squeeze of fuel costs, how the price at the pump is going to affect your daily life. Also tonight.
The program is designed for people that have gone through the detox phase, done some sort of treatment, whatever that might look like for them, and are ready to take that next step.
Bridging a gap in support for those battling addiction. A new recovery center in Victoria focusing on men is set to open. Plus, Adam finds out the story behind a very close Orca encounter caught on camera near East Sooke. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Fuel costs on Vancouver Island and across the country are up, with the price of diesel climbing far more than the price of gasoline. As CTV's Anna McMillan shows us, experts are warning the trickle-down effects could hurt local consumers.
Al Hashim says he's checking fuel prices on Vancouver Island daily, worrying about how it'll affect his courier business and customers.
You go to bed and the next morning you wake up and the fuel price has gone up.
So far, Maximum Express is absorbing the cost, but that will likely change soon.
If this continues, which it sounds like it's going to continue, by next week we'll have to raise the rate by a couple of percent.
A UBC economics professor says prices are increasing as conflict in the Middle East affects oil production and shipping routes.
The essential blockade of the Strait of Hormuz makes it impossible to ship almost 20% of the world oil to markets, and that is driving up prices everywhere.
Werner Antweiler says Canada doesn't depend on that oil, but we're still affected.
That oil is mostly going to Asian countries, but we are basically integrated into the world oil market. So when prices are going up, that is because demand for oil is going up everywhere.
Today in Victoria, gas is roughly $1.80 a litre.
We're nowhere near the prices we saw, say, about a year and a half ago in July of 2025. Or August 2025, when we saw $2 a litre, still 20 cents off, but we might start to get very uncomfortably close to that number over the next several days.
Compared to gas, diesel is way up, peaking in recent days around $2.20 a litre, up from $1.73 a month ago. Much of the Maximum Express fleet uses diesel.
There are important seasonal factors because there is more demand for diesel fuel, which is also used as heating oil in the winter.
Hashim says that hurts his company, the businesses it serves, and the people who shop at those businesses.
They're like bookstores, they're like grocery stores, they're like clothing stores, and they're, our community. It affects the entire community because community people buy these things.
He says a tax cut could help, but Antweiler cautions against government intervention.
If you sort of subsidize oil, then you're trying to actually prop up demand, and that's not good because the prices actually should allow the market to slow down demand.
The big question is how long the conflict will last, leaving local companies and consumers to find new ways to cut costs in an already inflationary market. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
The Port Alberni Fire Department responded to a fire at a motel early Tuesday afternoon. The blaze broke out during the lunch hour at a motel in the 5200 block of River Road. Smoke and fire was coming from one of the units, and crews were able to get inside and put out the fire. A person inside was able to get out on their own and was taken to hospital by BC ambulance. The first truck that arrived was in the area returning from another call and responded within minutes. Investigators determined the cause of the fire was an electrical issue. Overcoming addiction can be a long road with many bumps, stops, and starts along the way. As CTV's Brendan Strain shows us, next month, a new recovery house will begin welcoming its first residents, giving them the tools to reach their recovery goals and live independently.
Finishing touches are underway at the Kool-Aid Society's Johnson Manor in downtown Victoria, which when completed in April, will become a 20-unit recovery housing site.
It'll be a place for people that have had a history of street and shelter homelessness and or supportive housing.
It's for men only, with individuals being housed here in the third stage of their recovery.
This program is designed for people that have gone through the detox phase, done some sort of treatment, whatever that might look like for them, and are ready to take that next step.
Evan James is the manager of recovery recovery at Johnson Manor. He has fought his own battle with addiction, struggling to stay clean once getting through the initial stages of treatment.
I wasn't a quick learner, and my journey was many stops and starts.
The issue for Evan and many others like him is that when someone gets through the first and second stage of recovery, that's when they enter market housing, which can be isolating and often leading to a relapse. Johnson Manor hopes to bridge that gap, offering residents support from staff as well as others housed within the building, fighting their own battle to rebuild their lives.
Sort of that last step before being out on their own.
I'd say it's very unique. I don't really know if there is another model that is like this.
Kool-Aid's Director of Housing and Shelters says the building's $500 flat rate rent structure is what makes Johnson Manor different from other recovery housing sites.
A lot of recovery houses throughout the province are funded through philanthropy dollars, so the price to get in is quite high.
Which, she says, creates a major barrier working against someone going through their recovery journey. It's a substance-free facility requiring residents to engage with the community through volunteerism, as well as working towards one day living on their own.
They're all independent units with kitchens, with bathrooms.
It is funded through the City of Victoria, BC Housing, and the Kool-Aid Society, with residents being able to stay for 6 months up to 2 years.
Very excited. Yes, yeah, we've been crying out for new recovery beds in this city for a long time.
It's a place to have safety, to be vulnerable, to have those daily meetings, that daily meal, and to also kind of be tested, right, in those moments where you're getting triggered.
It's a place built around community, giving those battling addiction a new set of tools on their road to recovery. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
Victoria City Council will consider a new sky-high development at its meeting tomorrow, a residential building that would be the tallest in the city to date. The proposal is for a 35-story residential tower along Blanchard Street, nestled between Pandora Avenue and Cormorant Street. City staff is recommending council reject the development over concerns it may tower over the current vision for the city's landscape and shadow the future park at Blanchard and Fiskard Street. The apartment block was pitched by Reliance Properties and features retail space and a public plaza. If approved in its current state, it would be the tallest building, surpassing Hudson Place on Blanchard, which is 25 stories. The Alternative Approval Process, or AAP, begins today in Nanaimo to see if the city can extend its boundaries to include this Nanaimo First Nation in civic elections. Eligible voters have until the end of April to voice opposition to the move by filling out an elector response form. If more than 10% of voters oppose the idea, the city could consider a referendum. But if it's less, the city will be allowed to continue the process of requesting a boundary extension, which would allows Nanaimo First Nation members who live on their reserved land to vote in municipal elections.
The concept that in the 21st century, in 2026, the Nanaimo First Nation members can't vote for mayor and council when they live within the city of Nanaimo strikes me as a little odd.
Currently, the First Nation votes for an electoral area director for the regional district of Nanaimo and are also able to vote for the school board. Islanders will get their first taste of the FIFA World Cup fandom later this month as the lawns of the legislature transform into a test event for viewing parties. On Tuesday, March 31st, FIFA will test out its countrywide celebration program called Canada Celebrates. The series is meant to bring soccer fans together outside of the host cities. It will be free for the public and will have a large screen to watch games. It will also feature themed activities, cultural programming, music, and food. On the 31st, the test event will stream 2 of the 4 European playoff final showdowns for the World Cup, as well as the Canadian men's friendly against Tunisia. And the Grand Slam of curling is coming to Victoria this fall. Victoria will kick off the series October 13th to 18th and will feature some of the best curlers in the world, including some fresh off the Milano Cortina Olympics. Tickets are on sale now for full event and weekend passes. Day passes will be on sale closer to the day. Ticket resale company StubHub has agreed to refund some Taylor Swift fans over the price of tickets to her Eras tour shows in Vancouver.
You should know what you paid for. And that's perfect timing. You know, we have a lot of big things coming to BC, including FIFA, and we want to make sure that our consumer protection rules are working, and this is an example of that.
The company was being investigated for allegations it contravened BC's Ticket Sales Act for not disclosing details about seats being sold on its website. Swifties whose tickets did not indicate their seats would be partially or fully obstructed will receive their money back. In a statement, StubHub says while it doesn't believe it violated any laws, the company has agreed to make changes, including disclosing the face value of the ticket being resold.
8 degrees in Victoria right now, and the wind isn't all that bad just yet. However, there is a wind warning in effect. Gusts 60 to 100 kilometers per hour this evening and overnight tonight. The forecast is next.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
Josh joins us now. We had snow, we had rain, now we have wind.
Yeah, and the worst is yet to come. It looks like through the early to mid-evening hours and then overnight tonight, gusts in general about 50 to 70 kilometers per hour, but at times approaching 90 to 100 kilometers per hour. 7 right now in Victoria. You can see the wind out of the southeast only at about 10 kilometers per hour. But here's your wind warning from Victoria all the way up towards Nanaimo. I think some of the strongest wind is probably going to be out over the waterways. But if you have any loose objects, you may want to tie those down and secure them here in the next hour or two before the strongest wind moves through. I think you have until about 8 o'clock tonight before things really start to howl. There's the rain that's been moving through southern parts of the island. So had, again, a little bit of snow in through areas further to the north and through inland regions. We'll see more snow in through especially higher elevations for inland areas tomorrow, and again across the north you'll likely see a little bit of accumulating snow. In Victoria it's going to be more rain than snow, although at times there may be a few wet snowflakes mixed in. Port Alberni could pick up another centimeter or two. Up around Port Hardy could see 2, maybe 3 centimeters of snow by the end of the day tomorrow. As far as rainfall totals for tomorrow, you can see it's not a huge soaker, but we'll probably get 5 to 10 millimeters of rain in Victoria, and by the time we get to tomorrow morning, gusts should back off to about 50 kilometers per hour. So the strongest wind will go through the overnight period. 4 degrees and a rain-snow mix in the north tomorrow. 6 and a mix of sun and cloud Friday. Then it gets wet and maybe a little white as well through the weekend and into early next week. 5 with a rain-snow mix for inland areas. Most of that wet snow is going to be at higher elevations. Breezy as well. Gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour in and around Port Alberni. 7 and 8 and a bit drier for Friday, Saturday before the rain returns Sunday, Monday. Out on the west coast, gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour. By tomorrow, overnight tonight, I think around Tofino and south, you might see gusts at times 70 or 80 kilometers per hour. 8 and a chance of some scattered showers for Friday. Your one dry day looks to be Saturday. Rainy again for Sunday, Monday. In Comox, rain, maybe a few wet snowflakes mixed in, especially early in the day. Wind gusting to about 50 kilometers per hour at a high of 5. And in Nanaimo, you'll see wind gusts tomorrow backing off to about 40 kilometers per hour, but overnight tonight, potentially in that 60 to 90 kilometer per hour range. Maybe a little rain-snow mix tomorrow evening after a chance of showers through the day, and more shower activity in the forecast as we head into Friday. Breezy for tomorrow after a howling wind through this evening and overnight tonight. 8 degrees for a daytime high. Chance of showers early in the day Friday, but some sunny breaks in the afternoon, and up to 10 with partly cloudy skies on Saturday. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So, as we've said many times before, if you have hatches, batten them.
Gotta batten them. Thanks, Josh. Well, as we showed you earlier in the newscast, the war in Iran is fast becoming an economic crisis, and it's all about oil and shipping, with Iran targeting vessels in the critical Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for 20% of the world's oil. The U.S. president is threatening Iran with harsher punishment if it continues to target global oil and shipping. With more from Washington, here's CTV's Joy Malbin.
New video from Central Command shows the U.S. blowing up Iranian vessels suspected of laying mines near the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has effectively closed the shipping lane, attacking more than a dozen oil tankers trying to pass, choking off the world's lifeline for oil, and sending energy prices soaring, triggering the largest release of emergency reserves thanks to oil-rich nations.
Our countries will be making 400 million barrels of oil available. I repeat, 400 million barrels of oil.
Canada helping to offset global shortages too.
Canada will do its part to contribute to the world's supply. That will bring prices down for Canadians. That will keep prices affordable for Canadians.
With the U.S. and Israel targeting Iranian military sites, and Iran retaliating with a new wave of missile and drone attacks, President Donald Trump telling reporters,
right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse.
The president promising to hit harder, but also saying the war is pretty much over.
Which is it? Is the war ending soon, or are we on the brink of the worst fighting yet?
Mixed messaging from Washington isn't going over well. Key Trump supporters like Joe Rogan publicly criticizing the war as a betrayal.
He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
With the new supreme leader, Iran insists it alone will decide the war's end, as the FBI now warns sympathizers or proxies could try to launch attacks on U.S. soil. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Meantime, Iran's sports minister says the country cannot participate in the upcoming World Cup since the U.S. and Israel assassinated its leader. Group stage matches are scheduled to take place in the U.S., 2 in Los Angeles, 1 in Seattle. The decision comes despite FIFA President Gianni Infantino saying Donald Trump assured him Iran would be welcome to play in the United States. Iraq or the United Arab Emirates could be selected to replace Iran in the tournament. There are growing calls to lower the age for routine colorectal screening in Canada.
Over the last decade, more than 18,000 Canadians under the age of 50 have been diagnosed with the disease. And far too often, their cancers are diagnosed too late because routine screening begins too late.
Advocates want the screening age to be lowered from 50 to 45 for average-risk Canadians. The calls come as cases of the disease are rising in people under 50, and the diagnoses often come at later stages. When found early, survival rates for colorectal cancer are about 90% compared to less than 15% at advanced stages. Coming up, close encounter. Adam shows us how a tourist from Taiwan discovered an unexpected souvenir under the sea. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
It happened. Send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Finally, Adam finds out how a visitor from Taiwan got an unexpected souvenir after an unforgettable interaction under the sea off East Sooke on this Encore Sawatsky Sign-Off.
When Ping Yu started taking a selfie that day, the tourist never would have imagined what she would eventually capture on her camera.
I just looking around and see what's underwater.
Ping Yi had traveled to BC from Taiwan to visit her friend and fellow freediver, Ethan Bang.
Everything just seems normal. We had a good time in the water.
Ethan was hoping to introduce Ping Yi to some of the creatures he'd met under the sea before, While some were certainly shy around strangers, others seemed to greet divers with a smile.
Whenever the wild animal can bite, I always think that's the kind of good luck.
So when seals kept swimming around him, similar to this, Ethan called his friend over to get some footage with her camera. But Ping Yi kept missing them.
Why not me? Why I cannot see it?
And then 5 minutes later, Ping was screaming, "Ah, oh my God!"
Ethan assumed Ping Yi had been startled by a seal, until he noticed that black fin cutting through the water.
Realized I was wrong very quickly.
And then, approaching Ping Yi quite curiously,
I was shocked.
Was an orca.
Swing circle around me. It's just very close.
Although it was close enough to touch, she didn't. And although it felt like a dream, it wasn't.
I just think, wow, beautiful. And feel, oh my God.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed.
And as Ethan looks back on the video, he also couldn't feel more grateful to have shared the moment with his friend.
It is something like the top experience you can experience in our water here.
Which is why, despite having her video as a souvenir, before returning home, Ping Yi bought this more tangible reminder of her orca encounter.
Very good experience and memory. Very forever memory for me.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Sydney.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.